Oh man, we live. We are live. We are live. We are live. Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. It is season 2. We here now, man. Anybody that doesn't know, it's your boy, Josh Davis, founder of Brown and Balanced, your humble and gracious host, man. I'm really excited to kick off season 2 today. We have a returning guest. We have a brand new guest and a brand new segment with that new guest. And then we got one of the most up and coming dope bartenders that I've had the pleasure of knowing for about 2-3 years now. And I just really feel like, us old people, when we get out the way, she's going to be that next one to really carry the torch and pick up what Brown and Balance is all about and keep it moving forward. As I always start off every show, I got to do it. Rest in peace to George Floyd. Breonna Taylor, still say her name. Ahmaud Arbery, everybody else we've lost over these years. By all means, man, the fight isn't over. Black lives always matter. Let's continue that fight. Keep pushing on. That's something that we're at Brown and Balance going to always do, and that's something we hope all of you do as well along with us. But I got to get personal with y'all, right? This is what Brown and Balance is about. It's about community. It's about, friendship, brotherhood, sisterhood, and all that, man. And I just want to say to everybody, thank you. This has been one of the worst weeks, right along with a week that I had back in July of 2017. Man, I lost my father, the man, the myth, the legend. You know what I mean? Who did something completely selfless, and he took me in. You know what I mean? Anybody that doesn't know my backstory, I was adopted. I was in the system, and my dad came and got me. And while I have been able and been blessed to connect with my biological family, there's nothing like the pops who raised me. So I just want to let you guys know this whole season of Brown and Balance will be dedicated to Big George Davis, man. Shout out to Kasira, man, who took a picture. See, I ain't gonna get emotional on this joint. Y'all not finna give me like that. But like when I saw this, this just really just brought my pops to life for me. Shout out to Kasira, our dope graphic designer, who I sent her a picture of my dad. And she drew this, and this will be hanging up in my home. Y'all will see this at every Brown and Balance. Y'all probably will see it at every Brown and Balance live event. When the world opens up, man, I just really want to tell everybody, man, I really appreciate all the calls and texts and posts and everything else y'all done. I promise you I will respond to each one individually. That's my word on my life. I'm going to respond to all of them. It's just been a trying week. My pop's the strongest dude I know. He suffered 2 really major strokes 5 years ago. This Thanksgiving week will be 5 years. And when we first got there, they wanted us to pull the plug. It was like, he's not going to recover. And he opened his eyes up, and that man fought for 5 years to stay alive because he knew, he got my mom's out here, myself, my sister, and a whole bunch of family and friends that cared about him. So for that in itself, he's the epitome of what Brown and Balanced is. Strength, resilience, and just, walking your own path and doing it your way, man. So for that, man, I just want to tell this man, I know you hear me. I know you somewhere. Thank you. I appreciate everything you've done for me. It wouldn't be no Brown and Balance without you, because you're the one that taught me how to just be my own man and don't always go with the crowd. You know what I mean? And I said it as a joke, but I really do forgive you, man. Back in '89, when Mike hit that shot over Craig Elo, I'll never forget it. It was I was in 4th grade. And you made me go to bed, man. It was 8 seconds left on the game. You made me go to bed, dude. And I was really mad. And the way our house was set up, y'all was in the living room, you, my Uncle Ron, Uncle James, in the living room. And my bedroom was right off of that. And I'm like, come on, the Bulls is down 1. Let me just see what Mike gonna do. And he was like, no, you got school tomorrow. Go to bed. And then I go in my room. As I lay down and hit the pillow, I hear all y'all screaming and jumping in the front room. Come back out. Boom, Mike's doing the whole, you know what I mean? Never saw the shot live. I actually watched that game last Saturday when you passed, just so I could watch it and have a feeling of watching it live. So I forgive you, Pops. We all good. Thank you for making me go to bed, because I wouldn't be a little bit smart and be able to do stuff like this. So I do appreciate that. But we all good now, and I appreciate it. So again, for everybody, I had to get personal. I had to get real for a minute. I'm going to get off that because I ain't finna start crying on camera. We're not going to do that. And I'm going to shoot over to our first guest, our returning guest for Credit and Cocktails, Miss Mia Love. Where you at, love?
Hello, Josh. I'm here. Super happy to be back. First of all, Ashe to the ancestor. Really want to, extend my condolences to you on the passing and the transition of your dad. That's very near and dear and personal. And so appreciate your transparency and sharing. And I actually redid what I was going to do just based on that, because I know that legacy is super important to you. Family is super important to you. And not only is your immediate family super important to you, but your Brown and Balanced family is important. And that's part of the reason why we do what we do. So I want to make sure that we are planning for the future, make sure that we are planning for what happens next, what happens when we all transition and when we make that, that move. So one of the things that I want to talk about really quick is estate planning. It's something that's a very uncomfortable subject, and I beg your pardon. I hope it's okay for me to just talk a little bit about this, because I know you have kids and I know other people have kids and loved ones that are out there, and we want to make sure that you take care of that. And so, and I know that, your family has everything in order, but I just want to remind people, because it's something that we don't talk about. And oftentimes we have to go to extreme lengths to make sure that things are taken care of. You don't want the state deciding what happens to your assets. You don't want the state deciding what happens to your loved ones. So the first thing I'm going to talk about, and this does have to do with credit, estate planning documents. It doesn't matter whether you have a lot or a little bit. What you have is sentimental and it means something to you. To me, I have in my estate planning documents what happens to my crystal collection, because I love my crystals. I love all this stuff. I talk about these all the time, but make sure that you have this stuff in order. Make sure that you have this stuff together, because you want to make sure that you can decide what happens with everything. And this is something that you can do really, really inexpensive. You don't have to pay an attorney thousands of dollars to do this. So I want to make sure that you know that you can write out what you want to happen with, with all of your valuables, the things that are near and dear and sentimental to your heart. But please, please, please make sure that you have that direction there, for your family, and that you have that direction for your loved ones, so that everybody knows what has to happen. And if you have any questions about that, you can hit me up and I can help you do that very, very simply, inexpensive. It's easy to do, but it's something that's tough to talk about, but we got to do it. So you can hit me up on my social media. You can go to realfreedomwithlove.com, and I have a free discovery call on there. It's super simple. It's free, and I'm happy to talk to you about that. But now let's get into credit and cocktails. First, I want to talk to you and remind everybody how your credit score is calculated, because this is something that's really important. Things are going bananas right now with this pandemic. And, now we've got the second round of stimulus going on. People are trying to figure out what to do with their money, what to do with the money that they don't have, or what to do with, how to leverage their credit and not live on their credit. So I just want to remind you very quickly how your credit score is calculated. Then I'm going to very quickly give you a credit card hack before I get off the screen. So remember, payment history, that is the biggest portion of your credit score. That's 35%. And what that means is just on-time payments versus late payments. We look at the last 2 years, 18 months to 24 months. So year and a half to 2 years. If you have a late payment, that can drop your credit score as much as 60 points. So that weighs the same as a bankruptcy. Guys, reach out to the credit card issuers, reach out to the bank and change that date before the due date is due to make sure that you don't get hit with a late payment. And then the next one is capacity and amount owed. That means how much you owe on your card. Say this is my credit card. Say I have $1,000 limit on this. That means that I have no more than $300 to spend on this card. Now, if you really want to hit that sweet spot, keep it under $100. And how you do that is do that by making sure that by your closing date, the statement closing date, not the due date, that you get that under 30%. Because when that reports to the credit bureaus, you want to report that you're leveraging that and not living on it. Because again, going over the balance or going over those limits or maxing out your cards can make your credit score drop very quickly. And then length of credit. Say you have a card that you've had for a really long time and you don't use it anymore. Say it's just the first one that you opened. And I get this question a lot with student loans. People say, I want to get my student loans deleted from my credit report. You don't want to get those deleted because that speaks to your length of credit. That's 15% of your credit score. So you want to keep those on there, but you want them reporting in a positive manner. And even if you've defaulted on them, if you're, not current on them, there are ways that we can help you do that too. So again, use that handle, Original Mia Love or Real Freedom with Love, or go over to my website, realfreedomwithlove.com, and shoot me a message, and we can do a free discovery call and help you get that in order, because that's 15% of your score. Last two. 10% is new credit inquiries. If you are going out and applying for something, you got to make sure that you're not letting everybody run your credit, because that can also drop your score really quickly. That's 10% of your credit score, and you don't want your score to drop just from someone having a bunch of inquiries. Now, if you go to a car dealership, this is a little known fact. If you go to a car dealership and they are running your credit on that single day, say they run your credit multiple times, you don't get an inquiry for each one of those if they don't tell you the interest rate. If they're just shopping for a bank, you're not going to get hit with each one of those. If you're in the mall during the holidays and you go to this store and this store and this store, and you fill out instant credit applications, the interest rate is revealed to you on those. So you are going to get a hit for each one of those. So just make sure that you're not letting multiple people run your credit on instant credit applications. And then the last 10% is the types of credit. You want to have a credit mix. You want to make sure that you've got, revolving credit. You make sure that, like, a car loan, a mortgage, credit cards, all that's your credit mix. So that's how your credit score is calculated. But now let's get into this hack. So a lot of people say, I need my score to go up quick. I'm trying to buy something. I want to finance something, and I want to make sure that my score goes up quick. This is the 15-3 rule. And I'll put this out in other places. I'll put it on my social media so you can check it out there too. But here's what you do. You pay half of your balance 15 days before the due date. Okay. Make sure you're looking at the due date. Count back 15 days before the due date. Then you pay the balance 3 days before the due date. That's going to show the system that you're making two payments. You can't just pick randomized days. So remember, 15-3. It's a 15-3 rule. So 15 days before the due date, pay half of what's due. 3 days before, go back and pay the balance. And that's going to trick that algorithm into making it think that you made two payments. That's a way to make your score go up very quickly. So I'm happy to share more tips and tricks with you guys. I want to make sure that everybody's able to maximize their credit. Now, the last thing I want to talk about before they move me out the way is authorized users. If you have individuals and say that you have good credit, say that you have a stable credit, but you're trying to help someone else build, and I know Josh did this with his son, add them as authorized users on your cards. You don't necessarily have to give them the card. Add them as an authorized user, because that helps them build their credit. You want to make sure that we're supporting our young people, that they're getting this education that we did not get in school. We know we didn't teach us about this, but we want our kids to be able to do that. So head over to realfreedomwithlove.com, book a free discovery call. It says 15 minutes, but as you can tell, I talk a lot, so we'll probably go longer than 15 minutes. I'm here to answer all of your questions and appreciate the opportunity to share.
No, we only gonna go 15 minutes because you talk fast, so it is gonna be 15. You all good.
I will talk.
Now, thank you for all the tips, me. I know you've helped me out, over the years, our friendship and everything. And I've definitely seen a big difference. Like you said, I've started Josiah on his credit journey as well. I have to keep him out of the shoe stores because he's a lot like his dad, but he'll be all right. But on a lighter note, I had to go off camera for a minute. I need a second, can't, me. Today is a really dope day, man. Today is the anniversary. 3 years ago, the first time Brown & Balance came to Oakland. That's why I had to pull out the OG. Normally, I have my Campari jacket on, you know what I mean? And we're going to talk about Campari in a minute, y'all. But, normally I had that on. But I had to pull out the OG Brown & Balance shirt. You guys that have not, they're new to Brown & Balance. So year 2 of Brown & Balance, we started, the first stop was Oakland, and it was March 26, 2018. And Mia was there. Mia won a couple dope prizes. And we're going to share more stories on the post show, but share some stories of that day that you can share because you were actually there. That was your first Brown & Balance experience. I think we had just really met maybe about a year before that, you know what I mean? So the first time you were able to have it in your hometown, in your city, let everybody know some of your memorable moments that you can share on Facebook without us losing sponsorship.
Okay, let's see. Well, I missed a flight.
Yeah.
Okay, because I was stopping by. You can't stop by Brown & Balance. I'm never going to say that again. You can't stop by. I had a flight to go to a nightclub and bar show in Vegas to, do some other stuff, right? And so I told Josh I was going to stop by. He was like, yeah, okay. I literally had my suitcase packed, didn't make that flight. We had an amazing time. Brown and Balanced is amazing. I think Josh said that his allergies were getting to him that day.
It was like they were today, same thing.
Yeah. He has these allergies that happen this time of year. But honestly, it was phenomenal event. I mean, the food was good. The team was great. I mean, I can't say enough about it. Like I said, I missed my flight. So that just kind of lets you know. And it wasn't that I missed my flight because I couldn't get to the airport. It was that I was having so much fun that I was like, I'm just going to stay and we'll figure it out later. So, I know that you were able to raise money for a really phenomenal organization. And honestly, I told you I'm from the Bay. So I told you Oakland is the way to go. We packed it out. So much good stuff that happened. So just appreciate the opportunity. And, it was just an amazing event. Can't wait to do it again in Oakland.
Soon as the world, tell your cousins, stay in the house. So that way we can get the world opened up and we can come on back out to Oakland and go back to the double standard and do it even bigger and bigger and bigger than we've done it the 2 times we've done it there already. Even though you missed the second one, but we can talk about you on that.
See, you always got to throw. Cheers, Josh.
That's how you feel? Cheers. Thank you, Mia. I appreciate you coming on, sharing your wisdom. And we'll see you in a few more episodes with some more things that you got to share with us to help us out with our financial tips. All right. So, that was our first, y'all remember last season, Mia gave us all the tips on how to get it started. Now she's giving us that second to keep it going. You know what I mean? But before we move to our second guest, I got to say it. I didn't say it during the first segment. I had to have something else going on, but y'all already know what time it is. Campari Community. Follow them on Instagram, right? It's going to pop up on the screen magically. See that? Happened just my super producer in the back made it pop up on the screen. I already know if you go on Facebook in the comments, my other super producer, Brittany Leach, is going to put the link to the mailing list because I need everybody to jump on the mailing list, sign up. See, we upgrading this year. Y'all see what it is? We got ticker tape and all that this year. We making moves out here, y'all. Brown and Balance is on the rise. So, hit the list. Please hit the mailing list. I just got some stuff in the mail a couple of weeks ago. That was great. I got that dope Campari hoodie that y'all normally see me in the mail. And like I said, you never know what you need until you get it, right? So just sign up for the mailing list. If you're a bartender, if you're not a bartender, who cares? Just come on in, be a part of the Campari community. All y'all on Instagram, follow Campari community, please. They always are putting out really dope content. They are partners. We love them. We love the whole team over there. And I'm saying this because I have been a part of Campari community and I've been on the mailing list long before I even started Brown and Balance. So I really need you guys to just trust us on this one, jump down and get involved. All right. So with this being season 2, you know what I mean? I wanted to start some new segments. We got a few really new segments. Last year, we had Kiara in the garden, and we had Christina, and we had somebody come get these kids with Sherry, and then we had a bunch of dope segments and some special guests, and we got some more coming. I don't want to ruin the surprises, but we wanted to start a new segment this year. And in this new segment, I feel like, personally, Black artists matter. Every piece of art in my home was made by a Black designer, a Black artist at some point. And I feel like they have very similar issues and gripes that some of us Black bartenders have. So for me to start Brown and Balance to try to raise awareness for us, now it's time to expand it. And we're going to move over to the artist realm too, because I can't draw at all. So anybody that has that talent and skill, like, they need to be celebrated. So we went down to the A, and I got my brother who was my brother before he even knew he was my brother. My man, Darius Parker. I need him to pop in and come hang out. What's up, bro?
Yo, what's going on? What's happening with you, man?
Man, I'm good, brother. I'm glad to have you on, man. Like I said, I've been a fan for a minute. Your wife is one of my really good friends, so it was only right that, when I do this Black Artist Matter segment, I wanted you to be the kickoff and have you on.
I appreciate it, man. I'm just humbled to be here. I'm just, so I appreciate the opportunity.
No doubt. So look, I just want to get in your story, man. This is your show. Like, tell us how did you know that you had the talent to be able to draw? How did you cultivate it? Your beginnings and being an artist. Just give us the whole script.
To be honest, man, my mom was huge in that, and the fact that, like, she was a single mom. She was me and my older brother, and my younger sister Sean, and so she was always just trying to keep us out of the streets, keep us from doing stuff. And a lot of times we were just always at the High Museum or always in somebody's engineering electronic program. Flash forward, I went through life, did a lot of crazy stuff, joined the military, did a lot of bad stuff for a lot of really even worse people. and just got to a point in life at like 25 where I was like, yo, this can't be it. Like, I just felt like I was at that point where I was, just kind of like a harbinger of death in kind of a sense, in the path that I chose. Kept, even still, you know how we hard headed, making a dollar, making a dime. We still keep pushing at it. So, probably in about like 2009, everything just kind of fell apart, and I just kind of had to really just sit down and ask myself that 100 grand question: what can you do for the rest of your life that you can wake up and do, and regardless of whether you're getting paid for it or not? And I kind of, I did. The funny part is I did it while drawing, and so I kind of kept drawing and kind of just ignored it, and then finally paid attention to it about a few years later in 2012, and the rest is history. Just a paintbrush and some art school and paper, and that was kind of it. So,
word, that's dope. So, like, when you're drawing, because I've been able to check out your pieces on the gram. Like, where do you draw your inspiration from?
Man, I think it's just us to me as a black man. I think not only what Nina Simone said, but like even Toni Morrison and a lot of people that came before us. Like, that's our responsibility. To me, you can't, as much as we want to live in this world or in this society, we can't ignore what's going on. It's our responsibility as men, it's our responsibility as leaders, it's our responsibility just as a human being to kind of just speak on what's going on. And so a lot of my inspiration just comes from military background all the way up to just dealing with just experiences that I've dealt with in life. And a lot of times they ain't always pretty, but we're good at turning tragedy into triumph. And so that's kind of my message and everything is that, so what? You've been given life to do something with it, and it's your choice. I don't care what happened before you or who you think got their hand on the button.
Okay. I dig that. So, like, what's your artistic style? Like, so I can't draw nothing but some bathwater. You feel me? So, you know what I mean? So, like, what's your style of, like, is it abstract? Like, what do you what direction do you like to go in?
Honestly, I'm still early in it, and so honestly, my style right now is kind of I'm a graphic designer by trade, so a lot of you'll see and notice most of my art always has some kind of font or some kind of wording in it. But to me, I don't really have a style. I will say my mentor, Charlie Palmer, I'm working with him. He's an exceptional artist. And so I am trying to, I love his style. I love the way he kind of combines the two of like abstract and realism. And I guess that's kind of where I'm trying to head to. So this is, yeah.
So this is like piece, that's that producer, dog. Like that was my next question. Like I know you brought some pieces, you know what I mean, for all of us to see, man. So all you go through them, man. Let us know, what they are, what the inspiration you drew from them, and all of that.
Right. First and foremost, shout out to the homie Lizzie Witherspoon. Like she hooked us up. She's a phenomenal photographer, and she's actually working with time. And so this is her brainchild, and what she came up with was she just wanted to kind of capture in this moment of time where America, in my sense, is kind of trying to put on black face to wash away all the shames of the past. She hit me up and she was like, how do you feel at this moment and how people are approaching you? And so this was kind of my piece on it, in that America is Black history. And you can't tell no part of American history without telling, you can't tell no part of world history without telling Black history, let alone try to separate it and minimalize it down to a month. So that was just kind of my idea. Funny thing about this piece is I did an art talk on this and people were asking me like, why did I choose so many negative images? And to me, those aren't negative images. That's a part of the process. When we look at our life, you look back at your 20s, and most of us, my 20s were chaotic. So, but it produced who I am today. So I can't not appreciate it, but that's just it.
Word. All right. I know we got a couple of more, man. So we're just gonna shoot through them and let you. See, that's the one I wanted. I want that one. The way my tracking and my payments is set up, I got a whole lot.
We'll talk. We'll work something out. Trust me. The way my wife is set up, we can. But so this is, I do a lot of research in my paintings. Like I think every artist owes that to them society. Not, art isn't just some whim, just like you don't get a good drink by splash some stuff together, you don't get good art. So to me, this is called Black Codes. To make it real quick, allegory of Jim Crow on the head to white face to these are all the things we tell our sons. We tell our sons to grow up, be men, speak up, all these things, and then all of a sudden we get a conversation where it's like, be cautious of what you say and who you say it to. So a lot of stuff is just powerful and just trying to like paint the stuff that's going on, man.
Word. Yeah, that one got that need to hang in my crib, dog. We're gonna work that out, bro. I got you.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to and that one too. Yeah, we got to do a package deal.
This one's crown. Well, a lot of my paintings just come from studies, and to me, it's just this is the basic from use of primary colors to it's just how we gonna make it. Crown. We crown with different kinds of crowns, man, and it's just the basis of power, love, and unity is how we get to where we're going.
Word. Dope. I think we got one more, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So this piece actually I painted this like in 2017 and 18, and this was actually right around the time where Trump was grabbing women by the vagina. Mm-hmm. So it was kind of like that's how I felt America was not only treating women of color, but just women, period. And like the actual painting is, I can't remember her name, but it's a famous actress. And it's just that's how America kind of basically just chokes us out and like suffocates who we are as a people, not only us as men, but women too. So
that's dope, man. I mean, that's a skill and a talent I wish I had, brother. Like that's super dope to be able to bring stuff like that, realism to life. Like that's amazing, man. Like I got a couple more questions for you. One is, so when I started Brown and Balance, it was because I didn't see enough of us, right? I didn't see enough of us on the scene, making moves, doing big things. I know there's a ton of Black artists. What's some things you would like to see some of those quote unquote gatekeepers do, or brothers like yourself, or other brothers that are out here and sisters that are out here drawn to kind of help bring up that next crop of artists and make them feel like they're just as dope as the ones that we hear about all the time?
To me, man, it's all about education. A lot of it, to me, opening the doors is here in Atlanta. Man, the doors are open. The doors are really wide open, and the only thing it come down to is a lot of people willing to put in their 10,000 hours. In Atlanta, you got Peter Street Station, art by Wak, who's another phenomenal artist, to Maya Bailey, to I could run the list and run the gambit. Wow. To me, the only thing that's needed to open the door is the finances to buy Black art. You know what I mean? And a lot of times we don't have that income to buy the Black art that we see and that we want. But it's also, it's to us getting to that point of pushing it to mainstream and realizing as a Black artist, I take that my responsibility. Oftentimes we get asked, do you paint stuff more universal? What do you mean by universal? You want me to, that's not who I am. So I'm not gonna paint that, but it's just opening the doors to more galleries, to more, people showing up, to people having more appreciation of people, even if it's just on Instagram, being more aware of it, just being more aware. We talk about Black-owned businesses. Hey, go find a Black-owned artist. Yeah, support him. Support isn't just, buying a painting. Support is sometimes just showing up, mention his name in a good place. It's all different kind of ways to open it up. So the gates is open, man. I just feel it's all about people grabbing that torch and running like, somebody chasing them.
Word. I dig that. All right. So look, I'm not going to ask you what I wanted to ask you.
No, you're done.
I'm not, because I don't cause no problems in your house, because I know she in the comments. I can't see them, but I feel it, bro. Like right here, like
exactly.
So I don't want to do that to you. But one day I'm going to ask you that live. You know what I'm saying? And if you need a place to stay, you can always pull up to the shop. It's an hour and 20 minutes, bro. I got you. You good to go.
Well, I feel you. Hey, as long as it's not wintertime, I'm there.
My man, trust me. I don't want to be here in the winter. I got you.
Right.
But I'm gonna throw you a curve. Who's your Mount Rushmore of artists?
Whoa.
Yeah. See, I had to throw you a curve because I can't do what I want to do, because I know she is definitely watching, and I don't want to put that on you. But I ain't married, but I got a feeling it wouldn't be a good day for the rest of the day, so I don't want to do you like that.
I appreciate it. Don't listen to her. Don't listen to her. I knew she was going to do it.
I got you back, bro. I got you back.
Yo, honestly, my Mount Rushmore artists, man. I can't. That's like asking me my top 5 in basketball, bro. That's hard.
I mean, I can ask you that too, though, because well, who's the GOAT there?
It's not gonna be who's my GOAT in basketball.
Yeah,
that's an argument you don't want to have. But I'm gonna tell you it's Kobe.
How old are you? You're a little younger than me, right?
I'm 40. I'll be 43 this year.
Okay, so we the same age, bro. You gonna put Kobe over?
Bro, I can tell you why. Listen. All right. We'll do that later. My Mount Rushmore artist. First, I'm always shout out to the homie Charlie Palmer. Like that dude is unbelievable. Like the way he thinks art, and that's the process. The way he thinks art is beyond anything. Fahamu Peiku would probably be 2 right now. Art, but I got to give them 3 praises. They monsters in the game and killing it, like killing it. Art by Walk. After that, I got to give it to Henry Ossawa Tanner, just based on his story. Like this man's an old cat. Like black cat started painting in the United States, didn't get no love, went to France, made them people in the United States come back and speak his name. That's how you do it. You chase. You don't let nobody tell you. If people here don't love it, go find somewhere where they do. And then you got to pay homage to who else? To be honest with you, I'll even shout out. I'm still chasing my big brother. That man stopped drawing like 10 years ago and like won't ever pick up a pen. But like just from when we were kids, he's the dopest artist I have ever seen. Really? You did. And that's just we on a whole different side of other situation. But I'll give my brother like on that top Rushmore because if it wasn't for him and him driving me, it wouldn't be nothing else to it.
Word. All right, I dig that. We're gonna talk about this Kobe and MJ thing in a minute.
Okay.
We're gonna do that offline. That's worse than the other question I wanted to ask you. I should have asked you the other question, you know what I'm saying, and not that. We got Teddy Roddy phone going on over there. You good? I think Darius popped out, guys. I think he popped out, so I'm gonna go.
Yo.
You back? You good? All right, I think he popped out. So, everybody, that was our new segment, Black Artists Matter. We're going to bring Darius back on later. Don't call him Darius. We're going to bring Darius back on later before the show is over so that way we can recap, talk to him a little bit more before the end of the show. Live shows, things happen. Donald Trump's internet, man, it's just like him. It don't always work right. So, with that being said, one more time for the one time, Campari Community. Follow Campari Community, please, on Instagram. Then, hit their website for the mailing list. Get on that mailing list and get something delivered to you in a timely fashion. Because trust me, when you open up your mailbox or you look on your porch and see that package from Campari, it's a beautiful, beautiful thing, man. It's always something you need. I actually learned how to paint a little bit. I'm not like Darius, but I learned how to paint a little bit. You back, bro?
Yeah, I'm back. My apologies, sir.
Hey, you had the Teddy Riley joint going for a minute. It's all good. It happens.
Right.
It happens. But before we get you out of here, man, before I move to the bartender, let the people know how to find you, how to buy your art, how to hit your photos on the gram, all that stuff.
Everything is sdariusparker.com. That's my email, sdariusparker. You can find me on the gram, sdariusparker.com. Except for my website, it's actually sdariusparker.com. So just hit me up. I'm out. I'm available. Appreciate it. Good looking.
No, always, brother. Always. You family, bro. Your wife's fam. I can't wait for us to actually, in person, get to chop it up and hang out for real. Have a couple of drinks and, go get some lemon pepper wet wings from my favorite place in Atlanta.
Definitely. Wifey also reminded me to tell you everything is for sale. See how she keep me.
Hey, I get it, bro. I get it. Hey, do your thing, man. Everything's for sale, y'all. So please hit this brother's website, hit his gram, get your coins together, man. Don't ask him for no deals because you wouldn't ask nobody else for one. You know what I mean? Pay this man what he's worth. All right. I appreciate you, King.
All right. Appreciate you too, brother.
Always, man. All right, guys. So that was our Black Artists Matter. Y'all got the little preview of you need to follow Campari and all of that. But I'm gonna say it one more time. Campari on Instagram. Hit the mailing list, all that good stuff. Follow them. All right. So now we're moving on to our featured bartender for the month. I'm really excited for this young lady to come on. I met her at Camp Run-A-Muck, I believe. She's going to have to remind me, but I believe it's Camp Run-A-Muck, maybe about 2-3 years ago. Life of the party, smile that lights up the room, and uber talented. Works in one of the dopest bars in New York. has her own thing she does. She's always moving around. She's always trying new things. So if you haven't went over to Thirsty, please, by all means, go over to Thirsty, at Thirsty on Instagram. It might pop up on the screen magically in a few minutes as well. Go over there. You can check out the interview with Miss Paige Walwyn, but we're going to give you a little preview of that and a little bit extra because we're going to bring her on the screen right now. So, Paige, what's happening? How are you? I think you're on mute.
Hey, hi.
Hey, what's happening? How you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you? Thanks for having me.
No, thank you for being a part of Brown and Balance. I remember a while ago when I met you, I said, if I had a way we can get you involved in it, I was going to definitely do it. And no better way to kick off season 2's interviews than with you. So with that, it's the Paige Show.
Okay, I love that.
Yeah, tell us your beginnings, how you got into the industry, what you were doing before the industry and all that other good stuff.
And how I got into the industry, I started working, I guess, in the service industry since my first job. My first job was serving frozen yogurt and like miso soup at this Korean restaurant that was around the corner from my house. So I've always kind of done little things like that. When I was in college, I went to Rutgers in New Brunswick, New Jersey. I worked in the student center and I worked at this arcade, served milkshakes, ice cream, things like that. But how I kind of got into this facet of the hospitality industry is my senior year or the summer before my senior year, I decided I want another job. I wanted to make more money. And a lot of my friends worked as servers at different bars, restaurants. So I was like, I'm going to do that. I'd never served before. So I applied for a job and I started as a hostess. So I was working as a hostess at this fine dining steakhouse and Italian restaurant in New Brunswick, New Jersey. And I did that for about a year before starting to move up. I started as a host and then I moved up to like a runner, then as a server, and then eventually started bar backing and working behind the bar. And it was when I was working there that my bosses are really, really hands off and really involved in the industry. And they offered me the opportunity to kind of go to a lot of different tastings. I did the CAP program when I was still working there. I applied for Camp Run Amok when I was there. And it kind of opened my eyes to everything that this industry had to offer. And I stopped looking at it about 2 years. I was there for about 5 years. So about 2 years in, I stopped and I had graduated and I realized, oh, this isn't necessarily like a hobby or something that I'm just doing for quick change. This is something that I can make a career out of. And the more industry events that I went to and the more tastings and things like that I went to, I realized that there was a really big educational component to it and a really big mentorship component to it. And that's really what I liked. And that's really what continued to drive me.
Word. So I like your story. You came up, like I said, from host and you worked your way all the way up.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like since I've been doing these and really getting to know you guys a lot better, like I've always considered all of us friends and I kind of knew we had similar backgrounds, but
yeah,
we all come from like the real humble bottom of the pole and worked our way up to where we are now. How do you feel that's affected you and helped you in your bartending career? The fact that you started, at the bottom and now you're here, you know what I mean? Literally.
I think that although my journey to becoming a bartender was a lot longer, I think it just made me an overall more well-rounded person in general. Starting from the bottom, starting as a host where your job is to speak on the phone and seat people, and then moving up all the way to interacting with people again and providing experiences just lets you know the ins and outs of everything. So had I just jumped in and automatically started as a bartender, I might have been an okay bartender, but having all of those building blocks just made me better and it made me more invested in it.
Word. I get that. Humble beginnings, man. That's the one thing. Like literally everyone has all these brown and black bartenders that I've interviewed. We all have I was a door guy. I was security. You know what I mean? And I worked my way, to where I'm doing this now. So I totally salute you for having that grind and sticking with it and seeing, you seeing the forest for the tree. You skipping the trees. You're actually seeing the forest and where you can grow. You said you were a CAP and you did Camp Run Amok. How did you find out about those programs, one, and then two, I think I met you at Run Amok. How was your Run Amok experience? You want to share that?
So the first industry like event that I'd ever done outside of some like little tastings and whatnot in New York City was actually the CAP program, which is really unconventional for a lot of people because that's something that you usually do when you're a little bit more established in your career. I did that. It was the first thing I did. I was like 24 years old and it was super, super green. I got connected and found out about that program through my boss at the time. He was really familiar with Tails, always went and recommended the program to me. It's kind of funny because the year, in hindsight, when I look back, it's a little strange, but the year that I went was right after the year that whole like controversy happened with Tails.
Yeah.
So whatever, but that's the year I went and I found out through him. And then that kind of sparked my interest. I met some people that had went to camp and they were like, oh, if you liked this, you should definitely apply for this event. So I applied for camp and I was fortunate enough to get accepted on my first try. And then that's where I met you.
Right.
Brown and Balanced.
Yeah. Because you were in that infamous Brown and Balanced, right? It was the spring or were you at the fall?
I was in the fall. I don't think it was infamous. It was fun and it was crazy, but I wouldn't go as far as to say infamous.
Now the spring one was infamous. Like we have to really censor the stories we tell from the spring because it was the first time at camp, and you know how camp is. You kind of let your hair down, you get loose, you have fun, and we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
How was your Brown and Balanced experience? Like, what did you draw from that? Was that the first time you ever experienced anything like that to see Black bartenders kind of pushed to the forefront?
So my Brown and Balanced experience was amazing. It was super, super fun. I knew about Brown and Balanced before coming in. And then when I got to Camp Run Amok, my camp counselor was Roby. So she basically gave me the ins and outs. She was like, you need to be there. You're going to be there. It's going to be fun. You're going to be there the whole time. And I'm like, okay, this is great. But the thing that really stood out to me about Brown and Balanced, and I remember right after it happened, I told Roby, I was like, I want to be involved in that, is because it was the first experience that I had seen in my time in the industry. And at this point, I'd probably been bartending for like a year and a half, in the industry for like 3 years, but it was the first time that I'd actually seen Black and brown bartenders be the focus and be the highlight. It wasn't just one Black person or two. This event was for Black bartenders, highlighting Black bartenders and brown bartenders. And that was the focus. And there was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And it was really cool for me to see and really kind of inspirational, because one of the issues that I had, especially when I first started bartending, is that I didn't see a lot of people like me. And because of that, I didn't really think that there was a path for me.
Okay.
I just felt very kind of on the outskirts and very left out about a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
I was often the only like Black female in a lot of events that I would go to and things like that. And this was a place to kind of find community and see Black and brown people doing amazing things.
Word.
And having fun and being completely authentic while doing it.
Word. So this year, especially with the pandemic and things, and I know I want to get to the pandemic question, but this year, because of everything that's happened in the world, right, since last summer with killings and white people acting crazy at the Capitol and all the other stuff, there's been a more concerted focus on involving Black bartenders, especially in a lot of different projects. Like I've seen all of your faces, your face, and a bunch of my other friends. I've been seeing our faces everywhere, especially Black History Month this year. What's some things you would like to see to continue? Because see, me personally, I have always talked with people and I say, hey, I don't like performative. Like if you're going to do it, don't make me just a token. You feel me? Like, and don't just do it because quote unquote, it's the cool thing. It's the in thing to do now. What's some things you would like to see sustained from some of the powers that be that don't necessarily look like us to continue to put us on these platforms and keep it pushing past just when everything dies down and the world kind of goes back to normal? You know, what would you like to see going forward?
There's a couple different ways that I can kind of go with that question. I think The main thing that I really want to see is, like you said, I love seeing Black and brown people pushed to the forefront. I love that. That's amazing. But I want to see those same groups that are using Black people for clout, or like, I don't want it to be for self-gratification. I don't want it to make you feel better. I want you to actually be doing the internal work that's necessary to change the infrastructure. Because if you're just simply one day posting my picture somewhere for your brand, but then every other day not doing anything to address your own personal biases, or promoting and working on the people to help build them up within your own industry, you're not really enacting any change.
Right.
You're using Black people for promotional access, not necessarily changing any structures. So I want to see these organizations start hiring more Black and brown people. And when I mean and these programs start accepting more Black and brown people, and not necessarily at the base level. I see a lot of people push for diversity solely at the base level, but when it's time to look into promotions or really look into these different opinions and experiences that people have, it's just not taken into consideration. So is any real change being done?
Absolutely. I love that. That's you said that way. I went to public school and I didn't go to Rutgers. You said that way smarter than I would ever say it. So I appreciate you for that. I'm gonna take that recording. So when people ask me that question,
No.
I'm just gonna be like, look, this is what Paige said, and that's what I'm gonna do. You know what I mean? But this March, to switch gears a little bit, it's March, it's Women's History Month.
It is.
As a woman in the industry, and a Black woman in the industry especially, what are some of the things like you would go back and tell, young Paige as she was getting started? Because there's a young Paige out there somewhere that's getting started to navigate through the industry a little bit better.
If I really had to think back and think about what I would tell myself, is that I would probably tell myself that proximity to whiteness isn't the goal. It isn't the means to success. I feel like for a long time, I felt like the way for me to be successful was for me to be involved in all these programs and do all these things and be the representation that I want to see. And that is true, but I don't necessarily need to be close, as in a professional sense, to whiteness to do so. I can be myself. I can embrace my Blackness and embrace my own personality and be successful. And I don't need to change or kind of mute myself to trying to fit into a mold of what is expected of me. Because I feel for a really long time, I was trying to basically abiding by a lot of respectability politics ideologies. So I kind of felt like I needed to fit in this box and I needed to be what people wanted me to be successful. Whereas now I just gonna be myself. If you like me, you like me. If you don't, I probably don't want to work with you anyway. So
yeah, you know what? That's been me in this industry for a long time. You spoke about the controversy with Tails. That was me. I knew that at that point, I'm gonna say something and people are not gonna like me, but I don't care. I'm gonna, like Mia just said, I'm gonna be unapologetically Black all the time, every day of the week, because we have things that we have to experience that some of our counterparts will never experience.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a whole nother world. I have an idea and I can share it here, but I do have an idea. I would love for us to have remember the student exchange program, the bartender exchange program, where I can take two of these, white tablecloth cocktail bartenders, drop them off in the hood, and they can work a bar in the hood. Take two of the bartenders from the hood and put them in there, and then let's let them do it for a week, and then let's see at the end how everybody's experience went. And I got a feeling how to go. I ain't gonna say it live, but a feeling how it would turn out. You know what I mean? But I would love to just have that, so that's way people can understand we're not just beating our box like, no, we need to be represented. We need this.
Oh,
and
yeah.
we're not just doing it to say it. Like, it's real and it's really out here. So I appreciate you, for saying that and being that way, which is why, of course, you are definitely part of the Brown and Balance family, because everybody that's in this family kind of has that similar mindset, overall. With it being Women's History Month as well, who are some of the women in our industry that don't inspire you, mentors, people you look up to? Who are some of those notable people?
Ooh, I feel like everyone says her, but it's because she deserves to be said. Ashton Berry, she was one of the first Black women that I saw at the forefront, and I was like, oh wow, okay, that's someone that looks like me. Awesome. Then I have a bunch of people that I've actually either met through camp or adjacent to camp, like Roby, Netta, love Netta, Paris. Those are just like some names off the top of my head that I look to, and I may not talk to them on the everyday basis, but I look at what they're doing and I take inspiration from what they're doing, and I'll do anything I can to support them. And they've always done anything that they can to support me. So I think that's just what's important.
I like that. So pandemic came, 2020 was a crazy year for all of us. Like, everybody I know I'm not supposed to really curse on it, but it went to shit, the whole world. I mean, that's just what it is. That's $1 going in the curse jar, Ramona. But it went bad for everyone. What? And you're in New York, so y'all got hit like the hardest, one of the worst places to be. What got you through the pandemic? Like, what were some of the things you did, maybe outside of our industry, and things you might have learned about yourself, done to kind of get you through this last 380 something days that we're in?
So this is a weird question, because I wish I could say like I started a business or I started a website or I took all my free time and did productive things with it. But I honestly didn't really do anything. The pandemic was really, really difficult, and I spent a lot of time just trying to stay afloat, like mentally and physically. When the pandemic happened, it was really hard because I've been working and going to school, so basically occupying my time full time since I was like 16 years old. So to go from having 3 jobs and living in New York at that time to having to move back to my parents and having no job was incredibly difficult for me to deal with. So it wasn't until way, way later, and after I kind of came to terms with the fact that the pandemic wasn't just an on and off switch kind of thing. Because the first couple of months, I literally was like, okay, I'm on unemployment. In like 2 months, this will be over. I'll go back to my jobs and everything will be great. And then after I realized that that didn't happen, I started going through all these weird feelings of, oh my God, I wasted so much time. I could have been doing this and I didn't do anything. And then that was a lot of like stress that I put onto myself. And then now it just took a lot of like soul searching. I'm really thankful for the time that I got to spend with my parents and got to reconnect with my parents, because not that me and my parents ever had like a bad relationship by any means, but I moved out of the house when I was 17 and it didn't move back until 10 years later because of the pandemic. Right. So I guess I would just say that, like, having the time to really like reevaluate my relationships. I gained a lot of really good relationships during the pandemic, reconnected with a lot of people that I hadn't really spoken to or in a long time, but I also gave me an opportunity to kind of clean house and realize the people that I didn't want to keep in my life anymore, so that I can move forward in a good way.
Word.
So I didn't take up any hobbies. I didn't do anything like that. I had a lot of brainstormings that nothing really came to fruition, but I'm thankful for the relationships that I was able to develop or further develop.
Absolutely. I love your cocktail that you created. This month. I absolutely love it. I read the articles. I saw it before the article. I saw all your inspiration behind it. So can you give everybody a little taste? You don't have to go through the specs and all that, but what the cocktail is and where you drew the inspiration from it.
So I wrote in my little thing. When it comes to creating cocktails, I'm super pop culture driven. I really like music, television. I love reality television, but that's where I kind of get my inspiration for a lot of cocktails. So for this cocktail, I was kind of thinking about my life for the past couple of months. And I drew inspiration from the SZA song Good Days, which kind of was released right at the end of 2020. And the reason why I picked that song is because it was really resonated for me, because for about like 3 months or so, I haven't been drinking. And that's like a personal decision that I decided, because I kind of decided to cut the drinking aspect of the industry out of my life so I could focus more on being self-care and taking care of myself. And that song really resonated with me because it made me reevaluate and think about a lot of the hard time that it had in terms of my relationship with alcohol, and helped me forge or think about a path to good days. And then I picked the little segment that's Sunny Inside from the song because it was really kind of resonated with me with the pandemic. Everyone's sitting inside, everyone's trying to find any kind of positive light that they can find when they're not really allowed to or supposed to go outside at all.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
No, that's an excellent cocktail. Like I'm gonna recreate it over this weekend and have it at home and hang out with it. You know what I mean? And that's one of my favorite. That SZA joint is tough, man. I love that song. For everybody on the screen, this is the cocktail. I mean, it's amazing. But it's Paige, so
it's super easy too. I like making cocktails, but I always really like making cocktails that are super approachable and something that anyone can make, because while I do appreciate all the technical application and everything that's put into cocktails, I sometimes get steered away from seeing cocktails that seem so like out of the blue. Like I got cacao nibs at Target.
I got you. I love it. Now, as soon as I saw it, I said, ooh. I was like, oh man, she got all the things I like in that drink, man. It's a beautiful cocktail. I can't wait to, like I said, recreate it, have some fun with it here at home. So we're coming to the end of the, me and you. And I know you was a little nervous. You know what I was going to ask you, and you thought I was going to ask you. But we're going to start something with the bartenders, and you're going to be the first to do it. We'll call it quick hits with Mr. Mix, right? So what we're going to do is, it's going to be just like you're going to get a this or that. And I just need that. Cool?
Okay.
You thinking that? You good?
I'm good. I could do that.
Okay. New York or Philly?
New York. Absolutely.
Absolutely New York. Okay. SZA or her?
SZA.
Interesting. I like that. SZA or her. Okay. I should ask this. Camp Run Amok or Portland Cocktail Week?
Camp Run Amok.
Okay, why? Now I got to switch. Now I got to go. Why?
I went to both, so I liked both. I think I liked Camp Run Amok more for just like my personal journey. It was like super, super fun. You can kind of make Camp Run Amok into whatever you want it to be. I met a bunch of really awesome people there, and not to say that I didn't meet really awesome people in Portland, but Camp Run Amok was a lot more immersive. It's like you're there 1 week and you're in this bubble and you're just doing this thing, making lifelong friendships. And Portland Cocktail Week has that same kind of element, but it's a lot more class focused. Like you feel like you're in school. Whereas at Camp Run Amok, you're in school at portions of the day, but you're also in your after school party time.
Okay. I like it. Okay, I got 2 more.
Okay.
Jasmine Sullivan or Jill Scott?
I feel like you're going to get mad when I say Jasmine Sullivan.
I'm not mad at that.
Okay.
That's really, honestly, there's no wrong answer in either one. There's no wrong answer. Like
I've just also been listening to a lot of Jasmine Sullivan recently, so I might just have that kind of like bias in my head.
I got you. Hey, that new jazz, that hotel.
Yeah, exactly.
Man, that's one. Okay, now the last one is a Campari question.
Campari question?
It's a Campari question.
Okay.
Russell's Reserve
or
Long Branch?
I think I might say Long Branch.
Interesting. Okay, now I got to ask why on that too.
Because I've tasted through a lot of the Campari stuff, and I remember doing this one tasting with all of the like spirits for Campari, like in terms of their like whiskeys and whatnot. And for some reason, I remember being drawn to the Long Branch.
Okay.
I might have to try them again in the near future and circle back with my definite answer. But I think Long Branch.
Long Branch. I mean, again, there's no wrong answer in this. You know what I mean? It's Paige's answer.
You looked at the wrong answer when you like stopped for a second and you're like, really?
I mean, I'm just, you know what it is? Because I feel like, you know, like I said, we've gotten to know each other over the years. And I'm like, I always think you're probably going to say one thing. And then when it's not
Okay.
that, oh, okay. All right. That's interesting. You know what I mean? So let me get why. But for that, I want to say thank you. You are the first bartender.
Thank you.
There was no better way to kick off season 2 than with you. Let everybody know how to find you on the interwebs real quick.
You can follow me on Instagram. I think it's right at the bottom it's basically my first name, Paige, with an extra E for my middle name backwards. So EEGIAP.
Word. I'm glad I went to public school again. I did not know that. I'm looking at it now like, oh, that is Paige with actually. Okay, cool. So, 3/26/2021 is International Paige Walwyn Day now.
It is forever, and the anniversary of Brown and Balance. So
you know what? I think the Paige Walwyn Day is better than the Brown and Balance Day. I'm just gonna be honest.
I didn't want to be the one to say it.
I think it is. I mean, just knowing you, I think you have eclipsed Oakland Brown and Balance. So thank you for being a part of the program.
Thank you for having me.
Always. When we get to do this live, when we bring it back to New York, I definitely want you to be, on the bar so people can actually experience your cocktails and your personality in person and see how dope and amazing that I think you are. For everyone else. All right?
Yeah.
Cool. So that's it. That's the show. We're going to bring everybody else on. I know Mia and Darius are still back there. Mia looked like she was trying to figure out her phone real quick. And I just want to tell y'all, man, hey, thank everybody for coming on, being part of the first show. And then we can start with Paige and then me and Darius. Anything y'all want to let the people know before we get out of here?
I don't know. Follow me on Instagram. I'm trying to build up the follower count. My goal is to be on reality TV, and they really look at that really heavy nowadays. So help me out.
Got you. Now I just got another question, another quick hit question to ask you. I'm gonna ask you later. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
You said reality TV. I'm gonna text it to you. I got you. Mia.
You know what I'm gonna say? Protect your energy. I got my crystals. I got all my amplifiers here. Protect your energy. Check on your strong friends and make sure that we are looking out for each other. Word.
Darius. Well, yeah, bro.
Love y'all. Appreciate it. Blessed be to everybody. Hey, continue to fight, man. Whatever you got to do by any means.
Word. Appreciate that. Hey, look, if y'all got a drink, man, like I said before we got here, this season dedicated to my pops, Big George. Do a cheers for him, man. It wouldn't be no Brown and Balance without that brother that's on the screen right there, man. Cheers to him.
Cheers.
All right, and we out of here. Super producer